Welcome to The Explainer. You know that feeling when you're on a project and the final product, well, it's nothing like the original idea. It's a disaster, right? Today, we're going to talk about the one role that's designed to prevent exactly that, the business analyst. We'll break down what they actually do and why they're so crucial for bridging that gap between a great idea and a successful launch. Okay, so picture this. On almost any project, you've got two totally different worlds speaking two different languages. Over here, you've got the business side. They're all about the big ideas, the cool features, the value. This is the I want team. And then way over on the other side, you've got the technical team, living in a world of code, databases, and APIs. They're the we build team. And here's the problem, right? These two worlds, they often talk right past each other. It's like a massive game of telephone. This communication gap, it's a recipe for confusion, misunderstandings, and let's be honest, total project failure. So the big question, the million-dollar question is, how do we bridge this gap? How do we get them on the same page? All right, let's dive a little deeper into this. We're not just talking about a simple communication problem here. It's more like a giant, costly chasm. And what makes it wider? Things like different priorities, different ways of looking at the same goal. If you just leave it alone, that ambiguity, it'll absolutely derail the whole project. And believe me, this isn't just some theoretical problem. This divide has real-world consequences. We're talking about huge delays, budgets that spiral out of control. And maybe, worst of all, you end up with a product that nobody actually wants or needs. A total waste. So this is where our hero enters the story, the business analyst, or BA for short. They step right into the middle of that chaos. Their job is to serve this incredibly critical function, to be the one solid connection between the world of ideas and the world of, actually getting stuff done. So, yeah, to put it simply, the BA is the bridge. But look, their job isn't just to be a messenger, passing notes back and forth. No way. Their real job is to be a translator, a clarifier. They're there to create one single shared source of truth, so that what the business is dreaming of is exactly what the tech team ends up building. This all boils down to one fundamental question that a great BA is always asking themselves. It's like their guiding principle. Is what I'm doing right now closing this gap? Am I reducing the confusion? Or am I accidentally making things worse with my own assumptions or fuzzy communication? So what does a BA need to actually build this bridge and not just, talk about it? Let's take a look inside the Central BA Toolkit. It really starts with a mindset shift. It's all about putting clarity way above confidence. See, it's not enough to just think, yeah, I can do it. A good BA needs to be able to say, I get it. I actually truly understand it. And this quote right here just nails that idea. Clarity is so important. If I don't know, I don't know. A great BA isn't afraid of those words. In fact, admitting you don't know something is the first step to getting rid of those dangerous gray areas and actually finding some real answers. Of course, that mindset has to be backed up by some serious skills. We're talking about things like critical and analytical thinking to really tear a problem apart. Problem solving, obviously, requirements engineering, which is just a fancy way of saying structuring information logically. And of course, top-notch communication, collaboration, and prioritization skills. It's a whole package. Okay, so how do BAs actually use all these skills to create that clarity we've been talking about? Well, they don't just wing it. They follow a very specific structured process to create what is essentially the blueprint for success. The whole thing really boils down to this powerful three-step loop. First, you elicit. That just means you go out and get the information from all the stakeholders. You talk to people. Then you model it. You document all that information in some kind of visual, clear way. And finally, you analyze it. You use that model to find insights, to spot the gaps, and figure out what's missing. And hey, let's be clear. Modeling sounds kind of fancy, but it's not some kind of dark art. It's really just the process of documenting information. That's it. The model itself becomes the basis for your analysis. It's the thing everyone can point to and talk about. And that documentation can come in a few different flavors. You've got your basic text, like paragraphs or bullet points. You've got tables, which are great for structured data. And then you have diagrams, which are often the real superstars for showing visual flows and how everything connects.
I love this next quote because it just explains it so perfectly. A good diagram is like a highway sign. Think about it. It communicates a message clearly to everyone, no matter what their native language is. That's what a great diagram does for a project team.
All right, let's move on and see how this all comes together to take a project from total ambiguity to a successful outcome.
Now, BAs aren't doing this with just a pen and paper. They've got a whole toolbox of software. Things like Jira or ADO for managing all the requirements, Visio for making flowcharts, something called UML or Unified Modeling Language, and even design tools like Figma for creating mockups and prototypes.
So when you boil it all down, this is the real magic of a business analyst. They take all that mess, the ambiguity, the conflicting ideas, all the different opinions, and they transform it. They forge it into a single, crystal clear, actionable blueprint that a dev team can actually use to build something amazing. So as you can see, being a business analyst isn't just a job title. It's really a discipline. It's the art of creating clarity out of chaos. And that leaves me with one final thought for you to chew on. The next time you're facing a really complex problem,